Welcome, dear traveler, to a quiet corner of the universe where stars whisper secrets tonight. We drift beyond time, beyond fear, and gently toward the unknown. Close your eyes, slow your breath, and let the cosmos carry you softly. This is not a journey of danger, but of wonder, peace, and imagination. Tonight's story begins at the edge of a mystery. A black hole. The story of what lies beyond a black hole did not begin with a spaceship or a signal. It began with a single question whispered in the quiet hours of the night by someone who felt the universe had been calling to them since childhood. Her name was Dr. Arya Hale, a young astronomer with eyes that held entire constellations inside them. She was the kind of person who paused in the middle of conversations just to look up at the night sky, as if some distant star had spoken her name since she was young. She believed every star had a personality, every nebula had a heartbeat, and every black hole hid an ancient secret. For Arya, the universe was not a cold, empty place. It was alive, it was listening, and somewhere deep within it, she felt something was waiting for her. One late evening, Arya was alone inside the mountaintop observatory, surrounded by telescopes humming like sleeping giants. The sky outside was unbelievably clear, a velvet ocean scattered with shimmering white, blue, and golden lights. The Milky Way cut across the darkness like a river of softly glowing dust. It was the kind of night when even silence felt sacred. Arya had been studying black holes for years, trying to understand their impossible nature. They were the universe's paradox, places where time stopped, gravity sang, and the known laws of physics simply folded like paper. But recently, she had noticed something strange, an unusual repeating pattern coming from the direction of the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way. It wasn't a normal cosmic signal. It wasn't random noise. It was structured, like someone or something was sending it intentionally. But that wasn't even the strangest part. When the signal was converted to sound, it resembled a soft pulse, almost like a heartbeat. Arya sat there listening to it again and again, her headphones pressed gently to her ears. The soft rhythmic beat seemed to echo inside her chest, matching her own heartbeat. It felt alive, it felt purposeful, and each time it played, she felt less like a scientist studying the universe and more like a wanderer, listening to a call meant only for her. She whispered softly into the quiet room, "Are you trying to tell us something?" The signal pulsed again, steady and gentle. That was the moment it happened. The moment a tiny spark lit inside her mind. It was a question she had never dared to ask out loud before. A question humanity had whispered for centuries, but never truly listened to. What's on the other side of a black hole? The question itself felt like a key to a door no one had ever tried to open. She leaned back in her chair, eyes drifting to the enormous dome above her, stars glowing through the open slit of the observatory roof. She felt small, but in a beautiful way, like a child staring up at the infinite. Black holes had always been treated as endings, cosmic graves where everything fell apart. But what if that wasn't true? What if a black hole wasn't an end at all? What if it was a tunnel, a bridge, a passage to somewhere no one had ever seen? She imagined falling through one, a swirl of light stretching like taffy, time itself bending, colors she had never imagined blooming around her. And then, a door to a place beyond imagination. Her heart began to pound with excitement. The air around her felt charged, as if the universe itself was leaning closer to listen. Sometimes life gives you a question that changes everything. For Arya, this was that question. She stood and walked to the observation window. The night felt enormous, full of mysteries waiting patiently to be found. The wind was cold against the glass, and she placed her hand there, feeling the faint vibration of the world. How many others have come before me, she murmured, gazing up at the same stars, wondering the same thing. Her mind drifted back to the first time she saw a picture of a black hole, the bright, fiery ring of light surrounding a perfect darkness. It had struck her like a message, not frightening, not threatening, just mysterious. A lighthouse turned inside out. Even as a girl, she had imagined something on the other side, not destruction, but birth, not silence, but a whisper. As she listened again to the soft, pulsing signal, Arya felt something inside her shift. Something bold, something fearless, the kind of feeling that pioneers must have felt. When looking out over the edge of a vast ocean, she sat down and pressed the record button on her console, speaking slowly, softly, like someone beginning a confession. This is Dr. Arya Hale. I believe the signal from Sagittarius asterisk is not a natural formation. It's patterned, intelligent, and I believe it might be coming from the other side of the event horizon. She paused, breath slowing. I know how impossible that sounds, but I also know the universe has never been simple. She listened again to the pulse. The universe answered. That was all the confirmation she needed. A question had been asked, a door had been knocked on. Now someone had to open it. Arya didn't sleep that night. She couldn't. She moved between monitors, scribbled notes, ran calculations, paced in slow circles. The signal repeated every 47 minutes with exact precision. Something no known natural phenomenon did when dawn finally painted the sky in pink and gold. Arya stepped outside, her breath turning into mist in the cold morning air. The mountains below were covered in clouds, like soft white blankets. She felt it then, as clear as if the universe itself had spoken to her. This was the beginning of the mission, the beginning of the journey, the beginning of the answer to the question that had been waiting for someone brave enough to ask. Arya didn't know where the question would take her. She didn't know that the mission she would inspire would travel further than any human had gone. She didn't know she would soon stand at the edge of a black hole herself, but she felt the truth in her bones. Every mystery in the universe begins with a single whisper. Every adventure begins with a single step, and every great discovery begins with a single question. Arya took a deep breath, lifted her eyes to the stars, and smiled gently. All right, she said softly. Show me what's on the other side. And with that, the journey truly began. The question had been born inside Arya Hale like a rising star. Nights passed, seasons shifted across the mountains, and the signal continued to pulse from the heart of the Milky Way with the same gentle rhythm. Every 47 minutes, the universe seemed to exhale a breath of mystery. Arya listened each time, feeling as if something far away was guiding her toward a destiny she could not yet understand. Soon, her discovery could no longer remain a secret. The scientific world reacted with disbelief. At first, some called it interference, others called it wishful imagination. But the signal did not care about opinions. It continued to beat with the same impossible precision. Eventually, even the most doubtful minds began to feel the truth. A meeting was arranged at the International Space Research Council. Representatives from 22 nations attended. Engineers, physicists, astronomers, mathematicians, and thinkers of every kind gathered under the same roof. It was a rare moment in human history when cooperation rose above competition. All eyes turned to Arya as she walked to the center of the room with the recording of the pulse in her hands. She pressed play. Soft rhythmic sound filled the air. It echoed through the speakers like a Slow and steady heartbeat, many leaned forward, many held their breath, every person in that room felt something stir inside. Something ancient and curious for the first time in centuries. Humanity was united by wonder. Arya spoke gently, her voice calm, but filled with conviction. This pattern is structured, it is not random. It repeats exactly every 47 minutes. Without a single variation, no known natural phenomenon behaves this way. I believe we are hearing something from beyond the event horizon of Sagittarius A. Our galaxy's central black hole. The silence that followed was deep, and thoughtful chairs creaked softly, fingers tapped on glass tables. And then someone whispered something that changed everything. Had if we go there? The idea seemed impossible. The nearest black hole was 26,000 light-years away. No spacecraft had ever traveled even a fraction of that distance. The gravitational forces around a black hole were deadly. Time behaved unpredictably near its edge, yet despite all this, the idea refused to fade. It lingered in the room like a spark that refused to die. Weeks turned into months, plans turned into blueprints, arguments turned into solutions. Terran scientists collaborated with orbital engineers, quantum physicists worked beside gravitational researchers. The world slowly realized that this was more than a scientific question. This was a chance to take the greatest leap in human history. A new type of spacecraft was designed. It was named the Voyager Beyond. The ship was unlike anything built before. Its hull was made from a newly discovered alloy, capable of bending under extreme gravitational stress. Without breaking, its engines were powered by a quantum compression core that folded space in tiny ripples, allowing travel at speeds previously unimaginable. It carried shielding that could absorb the intense radiation around a black hole, and sensors that could measure the distortion of time itself. Inside the ship, soft ambient lights pulsed in calming tones to keep the crew's nerves steady. Walls were curved in gentle arcs to mimic natural nature shapes and reduce stress. Every design choice was made with one intention: keep the explorers calm when they faced the unknown. Arya was appointed the mission's guiding scientist, not because she pushed for it, but because no one else could hear the signal with the same understanding. She felt it inside her, like a message meant for the entire human race. The crew of 5 was carefully selected. Each one of them carried a quiet courage that shone in their eyes. There was Commander Elias Rowan, a steady soul with the posture of someone who had spent his life holding the weight of responsibility. His voice could calm storms, and his judgment was precise as a star map. There was Dr. Neil Lysander, a physicist who understood gravity the way poets understand emotion. She spoke gently, moved gracefully, and saw beauty even in equations that others found terrifying. There was Milo Arcton, a young engineer with a mind like a constellational machine. He could repair any device with nothing more than a tool and a dream. He believed that the universe wanted to be understood, and that machines were simply another language of the cosmos. There was Sierra Vance, a psychologist trained for deep space missions. She carried warm eyes and a soothing voice. She understood that venturing into the heart of a black hole required more than intelligence. It required emotional strength. And finally, there was Arya, the woman who started it all, the woman who had listened to the heartbeat of the galaxy and dared to believe it was calling on the day of departure. The world gathered around screens. Cities held their breath. Families stood together. Children pressed their faces against windows, watching the sky. The ship sat on the launch pad, glowing softly like a silver teardrop. The early morning light kissed its surface. A faint mist curled around its base. Inside the cabin, Arya sat at her Stationed, her hands were steady, her heart beat slowly. Quietly, she felt no fear, only a gentle certainty. The signal pulsed again through her headset. She smiled to herself. "We heard you," she whispered. "We are coming." Commander Elias gave the countdown. 10, 9, the engines hummed with a deep, rising tone. 8, the air thickened with tension. 7, Nia closed her eyes and whispered a small prayer to the unknown. 6, Milo tightened his harness. 5, Sarah took a slow, deep breath, for Arya felt the pulse of the signal synchronizing with her heartbeat again. 3, every soul on Earth leaned forward to the ship glowed brighter. 1, a roar like thunder rose from the ground. The Voyager Beyond lifted into the sky. Clouds parted around it like curtains, unveiling a dream. The ship soared higher, stars became visible. The Earth below turned into a soft blue sphere, wrapped in silver light. Inside the cabin, the crew felt the shift. From gravity to weightlessness, their bodies floated gently for a moment before the stabilization system eased them back into place. Hours passed, then days, then weeks. The crew traveled farther than any humans had ever traveled. They crossed pulsar trails, they glided past nebula clouds, glowing with colors that looked like drifting dreams. They watched dying stars flicker like candles, and newborn stars burst like cosmic flowers. Space revealed wonders that no photograph could ever capture. And through it all, the signal grew clearer, louder, closer. Arya listened with a calm expression, though her heart trembled with awe. "It is no longer distant," she whispered. "It is waiting." The ship continued accelerating. The black hole at the center of the galaxy began to appear on long-range sensors. At first, it was only a number. Then it became a dot, and slowly the dot grew into a swirling abyss of light and shadow, a cosmic whirlpool, surrounded by a ring of fire and brilliance. The event horizon, the place where time paused, the border between the known and the infinite. The Voyager Beyond was approaching the most mysterious gateway in the universe. Arya pressed her hand softly against the window and whispered to herself, "This is the moment humanity has dreamed of for thousands of years." The others gathered beside her. No one spoke. They stood in silence, watching the edge of eternity draw near. They felt fear, yet also wonder so deep it softened every breath. Commander Elias finally broke the silence with a quiet voice. "Prepare for approach." Arya closed her eyes for a moment. The signal pulsed again in her headset, steady, calm, almost welcoming. She opened her eyes and whispered the words that carried humanity into the next part of its destiny: "We are ready." The black hole grew larger on the main screen until it felt like a living presence, not a monster, not an enemy, but a deep, ancient doorway made of gravity and time. It looked like a perfect circle of darkness, wrapped in a halo of swirling light. Streams of glowing gas spiraled around it like brush strokes painted by a cosmic artist with no concept of beginning or end. The sight alone quieted every voice inside the ship. The crew sat silently as the Voyager Beyond drifted closer. No one wanted to break the moment. The universe itself seemed to hold its breath. It felt as if they had arrived at the border of reality, where the familiar laws of physics were softly dissolving like snowflakes melting in warm hands. The event horizon waited just ahead. A place no human mind had ever touched, a place from which no light had ever escaped. Arya watched it with calm awe. Her eyes reflected the curling bands of light as they wrapped around a darkness so absolute it did not even shimmer. It was not empty. It was full of secrets, full of possibility, full of the unknown. For Arya, this was not the end of understanding. This was the beginning. Commander Elias finally spoke in a voice as steady as the stars. Approach sequence confirmed. Holding 800 kilometers from the event boundary, his tone carried both courage and softness, as if he was talking to something sacred. Arya leaned forward and touched the console. The signal is strong, almost clear. It is very close now. It feels as if it is waiting for us. Nia studied the readings. Her dark hair floated gently in the low gravity as she frowned softly at the numbers. Space is already bending. Our clocks are slowing relative to the outside universe. Our words now will reach Earth much later. We have already stepped slightly out of time. Sira placed a hand over her heart. Then we must speak with intention. Every thought we send from here becomes a message carried through the river of time. The ship glided onward. The gravitational pull increased. A soft vibration hummed through the cabin. Milo tightened a few bolts on the stabilizer panel. Even though it did not need tightening, it was his way of grounding himself. Arya breathed slowly. The signal grew so clear in her headset that it felt like someone was standing right beside her. Heartbeat, pulse, pulse, pulse. A message without words. A voice without language, a presence beyond knowledge. Elias activated the visual field enhancement. The screen magnified the swirling accretion disk around the black hole. What they saw made everyone fall into deeper silence. The light around the black hole curved so intensely that it created distorted reflections of distant stars. Some stars appeared twice, some stretched into soft ribbons of color. Some flickered in impossible patterns. It was like looking through a glass lens shaped by a dream rather than simple physics. Nia whispered with trembling wonder. We are looking at the bending of space itself. This is the universe folding like cloth under the pull of gravity. Arya nodded slowly. This is the closest any human eyes have ever come to truth. The Voyager Beyond drifted closer. The curve of light around the event horizon sharpened. The dark circle in the center expanded until it filled nearly half of the screen. Then something happened. The darkness moved. It was not a motion like a wave or a shape. It was more like the feeling of something turning its attention. The black circle seemed to pulse gently, as if reacting to their presence. Milo whispered, "It feels like it sees us." Arya answered softly, "No, it does not see us, it senses us." The ship trembled lightly as the gravitational gradient increased. Instruments flickered for a moment, but stabilized. The crew secured themselves into their seats as the final approach began. Elias activated the gravity shields, crossing the point of no return in 90 seconds. Nia closed her eyes and breathed a slow, grateful breath. "I never thought I would live to see this moment." Sarah looked at her with warm eyes. "No one ever did. Yet here we are together." Arya listened to the signal one more time. The pulse was now clear and steady. She felt as if something on the other side was reaching through the veil of space. She whispered, "We are listening." The event horizon filled the front windows. It was a smooth, perfect circle, so dark that it seemed to swallow even the idea of light. The glowing ring around it burned brighter and brighter until it looked like liquid fire looping endlessly around a hole in the universe. Elias guided the ship with steady hands. 30 seconds. The crew sat quietly. No one felt fear anymore, only reverence, only wonder. Only the soft, gentle truth that they were part of something much larger than human imagination. Arya placed her hand on the glass window, as if she could touch the horizon itself. All our lives we searched for meaning. All our lives we wondered what lies beyond the boundaries of our understanding. Today we will step beyond those boundaries. The signal pulsed again, a soft heartbeat perfectly timed. Arya closed her eyes. "We are ready." Elias spoke the final approach command, crossing the horizon. The ship glided forward. There was no impact, no jolt, no sound. It felt like drifting through a curtain made of silence and light for a moment. The entire universe seemed to stretch colors, elongated stars smeared across the screen. Like strokes of glowing paint, time slowed to a soft flowing stillness. Arya felt weightless. She felt as if her heartbeat had synchronized with the pulse of the cosmos. She felt the signal inside her chest. Nia reached for the console. Readings are shifting. Everything is changing. Time, space, light, all of it is rearranging itself around us. The cabin glowed faintly. Soft waves of color shimmered through the air. Like drifting auroras, the screens flickered with equations that no human had ever recorded. Before, Milo whispered, "We are inside, we are actually inside." Sarah felt tears rise in her eyes. Nothing about this feels hostile. It feels like entering a deep, calm ocean. The ship continued moving forward in a gentle glide. The world outside the windows changed again. The swirling light vanished. The darkness softened. In its place appeared a tunnel of shimmering patterns that twisted like slow-moving galaxies. Arya stared with wide, fascinated eyes. This is the dark passage, the inner region, the place where time becomes a river with no beginning. The tunnel felt endless, yet also intimate, warm. Alive, the crew sat in awe as the ship drifted deeper. No one spoke. The universe itself seemed to speak for them. Somewhere far ahead, a faint glow appeared, a distant, soft, white radiance. It pulsed gently, the same rhythm as the signal, the same rhythm as a heartbeat. Arya whispered the truth that none of them could deny. It is calling us home. The tunnel of shimmering patterns guided the Voyager Beyond deeper into the hidden heart of the black hole. It twisted slowly like a ribbon drifting underwater. Soft ripples of light flowed along its walls, each one shifting in colors no human language had ever named. Some swirls glowed like liquid sapphire. Others shimmered like pearly dawn. Some moved with the glow of starlight seen through tears. This was the deepest journey any human had ever taken, a journey into a place where the universe rewrote its own rules. Arya sat near the forward window, her hand resting gently on the smooth glass. Her breath formed a soft mist in the cool air. She could feel the presence of the tunnel as if it were a living thing. It hummed with a quiet vibration that seeped into her skin and flowed through her heart. It was neither dangerous nor comforting. It was simply ancient, older than galaxies, older than time. Behind her, Milo whispered with wide eyes as he stared at the swirling colors, "It is like we are inside the breath of the universe." Nia nodded with deep reverence. The equations on the screens are behaving like waves of emotion rather than mathematical patterns. I never imagined a place where thought and physics could blend like this. Commander Elias kept his hands steady on the control panel. Even he, a man trained to remain calm in any storm, found his voice softer than usual. The gravitational changes are increasing, yet the ship feels stable. It is almost as if something is guiding us safely through. Sarah sat close to Arya. Her voice carried a gentle warmth. Do you feel that too, Arya? That sense of being watched with kindness? Arya closed her eyes for a moment. She listened not with her ears, with her heart. And she felt it clearly, a presence, not physical, not threatening, more like a melody playing from far ahead. It feels like the tunnel itself knows we are here, Arya whispered. It feels like the universe is guiding us through a storm that would otherwise tear us apart. The storm revealed itself moments later. The tunnel around the ship began to stretch and twist. The soft glowing patterns shifted into spirals that looked like galaxies melting into one another. Waves of gravity rolled through the ship, not violently, but with an enormous silent power that made the air vibrate. The crew felt the changes in their bones. The lights flickered, the screens flickered. The world outside rippled like fabric blown by wind. Nia looked at the numbers. Racing across her display, her voice trembled, but not with fear. With all, we are entering the gravity storm. This is the region where time folds over itself, where past and future mingle like colors in water. Milo leaned forward. Look at the ship sensors. They are showing moments that have not happened yet and moments that happened minutes ago, all mixed together. Elias kept the ship steady as the storm intensified. The tunnel outside began to glow brighter, pulsing with waves of energy that moved like heartbeats. Arya felt her pulse synchronizing with those waves, slow, steady, ancient. She pressed her hand more firmly against the glass. What if this storm is not chaos, she whispered. What if it is a pathway, a filter, a test, something that prepares us to understand what lies ahead? Sierra placed a gentle hand on Arya's shoulder. Every meaningful journey has a moment where the traveler must step through uncertainty. Perhaps this storm is simply the universe asking if we are ready. As the ship moved forward, the gravity storm deepened. Waves of space curved around them. One moment the tunnel looked like crystal spirals. The next moment it resembled a dark ocean filled with drifting galaxies. The next moment it appeared to be made of golden threads, woven by invisible hands. Time no longer felt like a straight line. It felt like a river flowing in many directions. Arya saw something through the window that made her heart pause. A memory, her own childhood memory. For a brief second she saw herself as a little girl sitting under a clear night sky, pointing at stars with wonder. The universe had been calling her. Even then she blinked. The vision faded. The storm shifted again. Sarah whispered in amazement, I saw my grandmother. I saw her smiling at me. She has been gone for years, but she felt so real. Nia spoke softly. I saw a future version of myself. She looked older, wiser. She was standing in front of a glowing white horizon. Elias kept his focus, but his eyes were misty. I saw Earth, not the Earth we left behind, an Earth many centuries from now. Peaceful. Milo rubbed his eyes. Overwhelmed, but happy. I saw machines made of light. They were building something that looked like starlight architecture. Arya breathed out slowly. The gravity storm is showing us echoes, memories, possibilities, other versions of our paths. Nia nodded. Time is bending so deeply here that the barrier between moments has thinned. The storm is not only a test, it is a mirror. The storm reached its peak. The tunnel collapsed into a swirling sphere of light around the ship. Every color burst into view at once. Every particle of space seemed alive. The ship vibrated with powerful but beautiful force, not a violent shaking, more like the deep resonance of a giant invisible bell. Elias spoke through the deep humming. We must trust the path. There is no turning back now. Arya closed her eyes. She felt the signal again, clearer than ever, a soft rhythmic pulse, a heartbeat, a call. It is guiding us, she whispered. It is helping us cross. The storm began to calm slowly, gently. The swirling sphere of light stretched out again into a tunnel. The ripples softened, the pressure eased, the visions faded like morning mist. The Voyager Beyond drifted forward in peaceful silence. What appeared ahead brought tears to Arya's eyes. A soft, radiant glow shimmered at the end of the tunnel. Not bright, not harsh, warm, inviting, almost like the first light of dawn. After a long night, Nia leaned closer to the window. This is not part of the storm. This is something else, Milo whispered. It looks like an opening. Sarah smiled with a calm, full of awe, doorway. Elias lifted his hand from the controls slightly. We are nearing the end of the dark passage. Arya felt her heart open. Every question she had carried her entire life seemed to gather into this moment. She whispered the truth as gently as the glow itself. We are approaching what lies on the other side. The journey continued deeper into the hidden realm, beyond the black hole. As the spacecraft drifted forward, A shimmering glow began to spread around Arya and her small crew. It was gentle, like moonlight caught inside water, bending and sliding across the curved walls of space. No one could yet understand what they were witnessing, but every heart felt the arrival of something ancient.